Hello there, this is DBT, and this Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 9, and today I'll be driving my Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR in multiplayer to determine how far can it take me? Oh yeah, it's finally time to drive this absolute beauty, and I know not everybody thinks this is a beautiful car, but to me, it's just almost perfection. But alright. So what is the deal with this car? As I'm recording this video, there's a new car hunt for this thing. And as usual, whenever I have the opportunity, I like recording these videos for you to see what is the performance of this car and, well, for you to decide if you want to actually grind the car hunt or not. Now, we're going to be playing in the current multiplayer series, which is Ghost Slipstream. So this is going to get a little bit interesting because this car neither benefits a lot from Ghost Slipstream, nor is it a bad car to be driving it with. Now, the CLK GTR, it's actually very much in the middle of all of Class C. You can see it right next to the Acura NSX GT3 Evo, which is, by itself, a pretty decent car. So what's the deal with this car, then? As it stands, I have it a 5-star, everything upgraded to the maximum, except that I haven't applied a single epic. I actually only own one epic, and I don't want to use it because I want to show you the performance of the car as you could get it in the car hunt itself, regardless of the riot. Now, if we look at the top speed at 331, is tiny little bit fast for Class C, but nothing amazing. Acceleration at 77, almost 78, it's still not good. It's really on the slower side, but not a straight up crawl type of acceleration. Handling at 68 is actually pretty alright. It's somewhat high-ish handling for a mid-class C, and as far as nitro at 55, it's just there. So it doesn't really have anything that makes this car stand out in terms of the stats, and that is why it's indeed a very mid car. Now, I do have the opportunity to overclock this car for the multiplayer, but I don't want to do it. Mainly because I just want to show you the performance of the car in a regular situation, not when it's overclocked. So let's try it out. Now, I'm very much at the very start of the, what's it called? The Silver League. So I'm still going to be finding a lot of Class D cars, but it'll be alright. And by the way, if you like my content, why don't you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel? And if you'd like to support me directly, please consider joining the memberships. But alright, so what is the deal with this car then? Why do I think this car is beautiful? Because in my eyes, it is, alright? It absolutely is. I will be giving you a little bit of the history about this car throughout this video, but for now, let me just focus on the race and see what is what. Because while the Acura NSXs, which are the only Class C cars in this particular race, accelerate better than this car is definitely faster by like 10 or 11 kilometers, something like that, I'm not quite sure. But it's a faster car. Now, this being Ghost Slipstream, obviously, if you take the lead, then you're feeding nitro to everybody behind you, but apparently I'm so far ahead right now that it doesn't even matter. Oh man, but just look at this beautiful car. Beautiful car. So, what is the deal with these cars? It's a super iconic car, especially for GT1 races. GT1 races, well, alright, it's kind of difficult for me to talk about this car because, man, it means so much to me in many different ways. I made a video on this car in Asphalt 8 some time ago, and I talked about this whole thing. If you're curious, link should be appearing in the top right about now. But basically, the long and short of it is that this is a car that I fell in love with when I was young, when I started playing racing games, thanks to Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. Not the one from 2010, the one from 1998. Because this car was featured over there. Alright, so I got 40 points, defeating... Oh no, look at that, there was also a Bentley Mulliner. But yeah, a bunch of... No, there was actually not that many. Only 3 Class D cars, the rest were Class C. Alright, fair enough. Let's get to another race. And before I go any further, I thought of maybe showing you the colors available for this car because, oh boy, it does have quite a bit. So we got it in silver, which I think is the most iconic color for this car. We got it in red, blue, orange, green, and all of these are dual tones, by the way. That's why they look kind of fancy. This one I don't particularly like. This looks very interesting, as well as this one. But all right, let's go switching a little bit with the colors for the sake of variety, visual variety. Though I do have a decal for this. Ooh, Shanghai. All right, top speed oriented track. And again, like I said, this car is not exactly super fast for Class C, but it's not slow either. So let's see how it does. But yeah, as I was saying, I played with this car quite a bit in Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit, game from 1998. And man, this was one of the let's call it secret cars. I mean, it wasn't secret. It was more like you had to do certain events and whatnot to unlock it. So it was a pride situation. Like, oh, I was able to unlock this thing. Fantastic. And to be fair, in that game, it wasn't exactly this model. This is the Strassen version. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's the street version of the car, while the one in Need for Speed was the racing version. Because this car, it's actually, the reason why it's so extreme looking is because this is actually a race car. And that ties back to the whole thing of what I was saying of the GT1 races. Now, you may or may not know about the McLaren F1, right? That was an incredibly famous car during its time because it was ridiculously fast and all of that and whatnot. Well, that car also competed in GT1 races. All right, cool. I just want to see what I was racing against. There we go. All right, I got actually defeated by the 599XX Evo, but I did beat another one of those, Panamera, NSX, Husaria Viper, and another Husaria. All right, see? Not too bad, I tell you. So the F1, I think it was the GTR version that participated in the GT1 races. Either way, it was an incredibly dominating car. It's a very famous car because of its road car, but also in races, it was really, really strong because it was ridiculously fast. But then Porsche created the Porsche 911 GT1, eventually also the GT1 Evolution, which is also in this game in Class B, a bad car, by the way, but it is there. And that was a competition to the F1 GTR. Again, I'm not exactly sure the model of the F1 that participated there, but yeah. Why do I bring this whole thing up? Because eventually Mercedes was like, wait a second, so McLaren and Porsche are just running the show over there, huh? Let me create my own car, and they created this, the Mercedes-Benz CLK. Oh, Jesus Christ, what just happened? The Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR, obviously not this. Oh, God! Like I said, this is the road version, so now I'm talking about the racing version of this car. And while they had some hiccups at the start because it didn't perform very well, it took them a while to build it properly, a year, really, because they cooked up this car, the first version, super quickly, and it did not really perform. But next year, when they participated, they just dominated. And they dominated so hard with this car in GT1 races back in the 90s that this car, it's said to basically have killed GT1 races because it was so damn powerful. Defeated every single thing. Nobody wanted to participate anymore, so yep. It just killed the GT1s because it was the GT1 races back then because nobody wanted to race against this thing. So yeah, it's an iconic car in that sense. Like I said, generally speaking, obviously the McLaren F1 has a lot of fame because, well, you know, all that car entails and whatnot, being ridiculously fast for the road version and blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to the racing of these cars against this particular car against the F1, this car was an absolute beast. And I just lost that race because I crashed. So let's pretend this race didn't happen and let's just move on with life, shall we? And once again, this particular car in this game is the road version. The race version, for example, has a different wing, more of a regular looking racing wing, really big obviously, but held in the middle and whatnot. Also the position of the mirrors were actually on the pillars. Let me see if I can show it to someone. Can I get a good angle of my car? Yeah, the mirror would be right here instead of down there. And obviously some other aero differences and all. But yeah, that's why this car looks so weird. And that's why a lot of people say that this car is very ugly because, oh my God, what an ugly car. But the reality is that, imagine this car back in the day was basically what today is the LMH cars. You know, like, if you don't know what those are, think of the SEG 007, think of the Peugeot 9X8, oh my God, I hate those ramps so much. I hate these trucks. Whatever, I'm fine. So think of those cars, of like the Lamborghini SC63. Those are very extreme looking cars because they are racing cars through and through. They're purpose-built cars to maximize aero and whatnot and whatever. This is basically what this car was back in the day, along with a lot of GT1. Oh man, am I having connection issues? Look at that. Everybody is having connection. What is wrong with this race? Jesus. Yeah, when everybody's having connection issues, it really is you who's having the connection issues. So there's that. My God, am I gonna lose a second race in a row just like that? I was hoping, I don't know, for something half decent, you know. Well, still 25% left of the race, so let's see if I can somehow make it back. can I finish top 3 at least? Okay, top 3, so long as I don't mess it up. Hey, look. Despite what happened, still top 3, I'll take it. Jesus Christ. Man, I just hate this track so much. I can never finish learning it. And then those ramps, whatever. Defeated by a Pininfarina and Acura, but I did beat the Brisbane Beast, Acura, Elite, well, okay, this doesn't count. And 911 Carrera, okay, that doesn't count either. Those are very low cars, so nah. So a lot of GT1 cars, at least from back in the day, not a lot, but some of the very famous ones are precisely very weird looking. Like I said, the Porsche 911 GT1, that thing doesn't look like a regular 911 by any means. Same thing with this car. Again, even the F1, there's another version of the F1 that it's much longer, though I don't know if that participated in a different race, whatever. The point is that these are very extreme looking cars because they're not built for road comfort or anything. In fact, it's a bit of a funny thing how the rules worked on the GT1 races back then, because in order for the cars to be able to participate, they needed to be homologated cars. That is to say that there were road and race versions of the same car. However, the funny thing about it, and why this particular car is so ridiculously rare IRL, the road version, is because there was a bit of a loophole where all that you needed to do is build one single road car and say like, yep, there we go. See, there is a road version of the car. It doesn't matter if you didn't put it into mass production or anything. So long as there was one road version of the car, that was good enough. And this car, the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR, again, the road version, it's... honestly, I don't quite remember. I know that I knew this information quite a bit ago. But I don't know, there's like 20 or less than that IRL. It's ridiculous. And there's even like roadster version of this car, which is even more rare. These cars are so dumbly expensive IRL because they're so rare. So yeah, that's why this thing exists. And like I said, it really is not meant for road comfort or anything. It's like, okay, so they need us to have a road version of this race car. All right, let's give it some things that make it road, you know, the fenders or whatever it is that they needed to adjust, also in the interiors and whatnot. But really, this car, if you look at videos of people getting into this car IRL, it's ridiculously uncomfortable because it's super tiny on the inside, because it wasn't meant to be a road car. But anyway, first place, defeating an Acura 911 Targa. We got the Tomato, excuse me, Pininfarina NSX, Alfieri, and a DSE10. All right, well, at least, finally, I got a W. And I'm still waiting to acquire this car in a 1/64 diecast of it. I mean, I did get it from some random diecast company. Diecast, I mean like Hot Wheels and things like that. Hot Wheels made the CLR, I think that's the name of the car, which is kind of similar to this, but not exactly the same, whatever. But yeah, I just absolutely love this car. And it really has to do, like I said, with the fact that I played with this car quite a bit in Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. It was I think the very first proper racing game with real brand cars that I played, and that made me fall in love with racing games. And from that game is precisely where my love for the Lamborghini Diablo Super Veloce also comes. That was the game that made me fall in love with Lamborghinis, but at the same time with this particular Mercedes car. But anyway, now how is the performance in this game, DBT? You've been talking about this car's history and whatnot for over 10 minutes. How about we talk about it in game? Well, like I explained earlier, the stats show that it's nothing straight up amazing, but at the same time, it's not terrible. Now, the drift is nothing to write home about, but it's not absolutely hideous either. So overall, I would say that it's a very good mid car, you know? It's nothing that you're gonna say like, wow, this car is the absolute epitome, I never know how to say that word, of performance or anything, but it's definitely a serviceable car. And I got it to 4 stars when it first released during the... Oh man, I can't remember what that season was called, but it had a bunch of German cars, and this was the Legend Pass car. And the moment that I saw it, it's like, yeah, I'm getting the Legend Pass because I want this car in my collection. And I think that only allowed to take the car to 2 or 3 stars, and then I had to spend a bunch of tokens to take it to 4 stars. Alright, I got defeated by a Zenvo TSRS, which, to be fair, it's a mid-high Class B, so that makes sense. I did beat everything else, including a McLaren GT, which is high Class C, so there's that. Pininfarina FXX Evo, even with overclock, 2 Husarias and a Miura, though that one disconnected. Oh, the Miura, what a beautiful car. I think the season was Wanderlust. I'm not 100% sure because it was over a year ago, or at least a year ago. But I think it was indeed that same that same season where I got the Apollo Evo, which I only managed to get to 3 stars because I wanted to spend a bunch of tokens also on getting this car. I might be getting things confused, but it doesn't matter. The point is that I got this car all the way to 4 stars back then, and I've been driving it at 4 stars for quite a bit, but thanks to the guaranteed blueprints in this car hunt that just began today, as I'm recording and releasing this video, I was able to take finally the car to its 5th star, and yeah, now I'm driving it and finding it to be definitely much better than at 4 stars. Much better, maybe it's an exaggeration, considerably better. Again, nothing necessarily amazing by any means, but still not bad. In fact, when I think about this car, it makes me consider a little bit the Tomato P900, the car hunt that we got a few weeks ago. I don't know how many weeks ago. But this car, it's actually lower ranked than the Tomato, and it's very similar in the stats overall. The Tomato accelerates a little bit better at like 80, while this is 77. But this has about 10 more points of handling, but the rest of the stats are very, very similar. So if you're thinking, do I actually need this car? Should I go for it because I don't own it? And well, it really depends on which cars you already have. Now, if you're a straight up a full-on collectionist, then yes, you should probably go for it, especially if you're going free-to-play in a sense. All right, 5th place. I imagine that was a lot of Class B cars, because I couldn't do much in this race. I don't feel like I was doing terrible, but no, look at that. No, actually it was C, C, B, C. All right, no, I got proper defeated by a bunch of Class C cars. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Honestly, kind of expected with this car. So when, again, having a quick look at the position of the car, cars that are before this one, okay, Monza, it's car hunt, so it's kind of difficult to get. Corsa has also been hunt. What are common cars over here? The NSX and the Alfieri. So that kind of tells you a little bit of where this car is in terms of performance. Like I said, the Acura NSX GT3, but that's car hunt. The Sarth, the Vencer Sarth, this is a relatively common car. Much faster, much better car overall than the CLK GTR. What else is common around here? I guess the 718 Cayman, that's also kind of common. But yeah, that should kind of tell you where this car is located in terms of the performance. So that tells you that this is not the most amazing car out there. So if you, unlike me, are completely uninterested on the history of this car or the looks of this car or anything like that, I cannot in good faith tell you to go for this hunt. Now, this is a Class C car, meaning it doesn't require a ton of blueprints. I don't know exactly how many, but I don't know, I would imagine it's somewhere, let me think. So if the maximum it's 35, that would be 70. Probably around 120, 130 blueprints in order to max out this car. So it's not a super extremely long car hunt, but definitely you need to put a bunch of effort in order to max out the car if you don't have it at all, at any stars. So yeah, I don't think I would necessarily recommend you to go for it because, like I said, the performance overall I don't think justifies going for it. But again, if you're just trying to collect cars, you like this car, or you have free time or whatever, then why not? I mean, it's a free car, so why not go for it while you can, right? That's kind of how I always look at the car hunts. If I have the time to do them, I'm gonna do them. Of course, if it's a free hunt, but either way, I think you get the point. So overall, a very, very, in my opinion, very subjective opinion, very beautiful car. One car that I absolutely love for the way it looks, for the history in motorsports, and my own personal history with this car, and is that first place, baby! Oh, the last one was a W. Beautiful. And that actually got me to Gold League. Would you look at that? What did I just beat? SLR McLaren, a much stronger Class B car, Husaria, Scala Super Electra, Corvette Grand Sport, Huracan. I even beat a Huracan versus Vencer Sarth and the Husaria. Now, again, this is obviously not what you should be expecting on every race in terms of the performance, but hey, that's what you gotta love about multiplayer. It's just random. But alright, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, and all of that. Again, if you would like to support me directly, consider joining the membership. But that's all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.